Thursday. This is Renee Tompkins, the social media manager at Leah Realty. Thank you for joining me today for our monthly masterclass on social media. Today's agenda will include, we're going to review captions, why use them and how to use them. We're going to talk about the newest kid on the block, Instagram Threads, getting a lot of attention. We'll go over the 7 unwritten rules of real estate marketing, common mistakes agents make on social media, the win-win of creating a video interview series. Pretty cool stuff in that segment. And then mindsets for success, as well as recommended reading. As you all know, I'm a book fanatic, a bibliophile, so I always have a book in mind for each masterclass that I'll recommend. I've got some great kudos to share, and then we'll leave time for a Q&A at the end. So as always, in today's class, we do set expectations that you'll maintain a growth mindset, be open to making results-based changes in your business that will help you grow. You're going to take notes and interact by asking questions and sharing any stories that you're comfortable sharing with us. And then also challenge yourself to develop your own social media success strategy, which would include really coming up with a schedule of what you want to incorporate, when you want to incorporate, and have you look at your tools and systems as well. So room for anybody looking to grow their business, you'll want to set some time aside to develop your strategy and how to incorporate it. And I always say, if you're not actively working to grow your business on social media, you're shutting the door to a lot of epic connections and opportunities. There's so much opportunity in social media. And I will say the pandemic really changed a lot of that and even enhanced it further for us, especially as real estate agents. So something to consider. So the first agenda is captions. Let's talk about captions because I see a lot of people using them and I see a fair amount of people not using them. So let's talk about what they are and some of the best tools out there. First off, the benefits of using captions is you can engage with somebody anytime, anywhere, right? Because not everyone listens when they watch, as they're watching reels or any type of video content online. In fact, we do that in this house too. So I would say definitely delve into incorporating captions. And then it also, if there's a language barrier, it improves comprehension, and SEO really picks up on words, the typewritten word, not the verbal word, right? So as you're using captions, that will help your SEO searchability. And then, after a while, depending on the video content, people can get a little fatigued, right? Like the average person does not watch a 7-minute video all the way through. But with captions, it makes it more engaging, easier to understand for a lot of people, and will help that. And then, which is beneficial for longer videos. So definitely something to consider implementing into your video strategy. Let's talk about some of the best caption software. First, I recommend using the built-in caption feature offered through the platform that you're on. So if that's YouTube, Instagram, they've got already built-in caption features that you should take advantage of. If you want to up the game a bit or you want to just improve the caption look on your video, you can search secondary apps, which I love. Captions AI. This is available for iPhone users though right now only. So if you're an Android, watch for future rollouts on that. CapCut is another great software that's available for both Android and iPhone users. InShot, phenomenal pricing on InShot, again, available for both iPhone and Android. And then there's Veed, which also has a desktop user option. So phenomenal options there for you. And captions can get a little addicting, I have to say. They're customizable, so you can have fun with them. You can change the color, the font, the location. You can include emojis. They're super easy to use once you get the hang of it. And they do, as I said, make your videos more fun and engaging. So anything that's getting, you more hits on your more views, is a good thing. So you want to definitely get into incorporating definitely captions as part of your videos, as I said. So something to consider. This is sort of a mindset moment. But I think we all get caught up in doing this occasionally. And that's, we incorporate vanity metrics, that's what I call them anyway, but they're sort of like when you get caught up in the amount of likes or comments or subscribers or followers, and you forget the real purpose of social media is to connect with people, right? And I think the fact that it's online, that's where a lot of people get caught up in forgetting the personability factor of social media. It's really about the connection, and behind every single profile is a person wanting to connect with you. So just try to keep that in mind. All right, let's get into Instagram Threads. This is the new kid on the block and getting a lot of attention. Threads is an app built by Instagram, and you do have to download the app. It's obviously a free app in the App Store, and it's basically for joining public conversations. So you cannot customize it to make it private. Right now, everything is public. And once you download the Threads app, you simply log into your standard Instagram account, and you can start posting to Threads. And the Threads look so similar to Twitter. They do have a maximum character of 500. And you can include links, videos, pictures, etc. Videos can be up to 5 minutes in length, but it does have its own feed. So you're not seeing the Threads feed on the standard Instagram feed. In order to find it, you would go to anyone's profile and click on the Threads icon up at the top of their profile. And so bottom line is the Threads worth a try, right? There's been a lot of new kids on the block, as I like to call it, over the years. Some lasted, some haven't. I would say anything that's getting a slew of attention is worth a try. And Threads is getting that. So if you want your content seen by more viewers and you're looking to connect with more people and grow your audience, definitely give Threads a try. It's totally worth it. And then this was sort of an impactful thought that I sort of had and really sat on for a bit. You know, a lot of us would really succeed, like hit it out of the park on social media if we treated social media more like a telephone than a television, right? How many of us are on social media and we're just sitting back on the sidelines watching? If we really worked to build relationships and talked to people, right, even online, we would hit it out of the park, right? We would be able to build those relationships that we're seeking and crush our goals. So just a thought. So let's get into the 7 unwritten rules of real estate marketing. Number 1, and this may seem obvious to some of you, but I think when we get on social media, some of us might forget that if people don't know you exist, they can't connect with you, right? So even if you're on social media as just a standard account, but you're not talking about your business and you don't have a professional page, again, they can't connect with you. So your primary job of real estate marketing is brand consideration and lead generation at the end of the day. So what are the types of lead generating, what we call offers that agents receive? So typically, those are based on a property. If someone contacts you about a listing or an open house that you're hosting, they might contact you in regards to the process of buying, selling, or investing in real estate. And they might want to know about you. And maybe they want to become a real estate agent, or they might have they might have questions rather on the process of, you know, how would you handle this? Or they might be interviewing multiple agents. So here's another interesting thought. It actually takes people on average 7 times for them to receive information from you, to see sort of offers from you before they're ready to respond. And I think before that 7th time, a lot of agents do give up. On average, I think the average time for someone to reach out and make connection is 3 to 4 before they'll just stop. So when you know that it's on average 7, I would say 7+, keep that in mind the next time you might decide not to give up And then the magic of multi-method marketing, say that a few times fast. So this helps you build your brand much faster. And that really comes back to the old adage of don't put all your eggs in one basket. So building your brand on social media, I think everybody, I call them buckets of business building. And one of those buckets absolutely should be social media. But in addition, what are your other buckets? And so again, by just putting all your eggs in one basket or bucket, as I say, not really the way to go. I would definitely include multi-method marketing. And so look at what some of those might be. GEO farm mailings. I think a lot of people, especially, busy agents might feel that GEO farm mailings are a thing of the past. I don't think that's true. I think if you go all in with something, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're bound to succeed. Just a matter of time. Networking with other professionals. And that doesn't necessarily have to be other real estate professionals. It could be other area business owners. It could be an existing networking group, or you could build your own networking group. Hosting open houses. 33% of my business in the first several years I was in business came from hosting open houses that were not my listings. So definitely an opportunity out there, an epic opportunity to not just, and the mindset might be, I don't want to grow buyers. That's okay. Then make sure you're 10Xing that to get sellers through that door. Events and contests, another way you can multi-method. Community presence, always be town meetings, town fair days, volunteering, loads of opportunity community presence wise. And then past client and sphere of influence relationships, billboards, radios, TV ads, door knocking, email. The list again is even much longer than this, but this gives you an idea of how else you can incorporate some multi-method marketing. You want to be somebody who is seen everywhere. Remember, you're not a secret agent. So especially the magic of social media allows us to check into local businesses, local towns, your office, areas of interest, events. So I would check into the town of Tewksbury, great day to be selling real estate. Check into the office, first time seller consult, first time buyer consult, tag the loan officer. I mean, you want to be present and about on social media. So here's another thought. I can't even say it. Familiarity is often aligned with trust, right? So it's that brand name recognition. The more they see you, the more they trust you. It's especially if they have no connections with agents already, or maybe if they do, it could be someone that they're just not comfortable using for whatever reason. So don't hesitate to use social media to your advantage to be that I see you everywhere agent. So another thought is to incorporate what's called doubt ditching into your marketing strategy, another tongue twister. And another thought is consistency creates trust. So a lack of inconsistency breeds a lack of confidence. Think about this for a minute. If somebody's viewing your page and your brand is inconsistent, whether you say, okay, here I say I'm with another brokerage, I haven't updated that because I moved to Lair, but my old brokerage is still listed. I don't show my website. I don't consistently post a lot. How do I reach this person is basically what they're wondering. What the thought really leads to is if they can't represent themselves, how will they represent me? Right? So think about that in terms of the presence that you have on social media. Work to incorporate the doubt ditching strategy into your marketing. So again, don't take your relationships for granted. Never take them for granted. Consistently provide value. And remember, every time you post, correspond, comment, you are representing your brand. And your message really does matter. So, you want to keep your content definitely consistent, but also you want to incorporate various kinds of content. You can provide content on buyers, sellers, investors, all kinds of, I'm sure you've got success stories. Even if you're a new agent and you don't have success stories, talk about past successes in other, like what you brought to the table for a customer, maybe at another job. There's all kinds of ways to shift it. Local business owners, community, special interests. I'm huge, as you might know, or some of you know, with wellness and juicing. So I am incorporating now juicing recipes on my page. And again, that's who I am. So that's important to me. And then also don't forget some humor, appropriate humor. All right. And then relationships is the business we're in at the end of the day. We are, we'll talk a minute about what we really sell, but your audience needs to know you, like you, and trust you in order to do business with you. But there's one that stands out far from the rest. So if they don't know you, obviously they cannot do business with you, and they certainly can trust you, but there's a fair amount of great agents out there, all trustworthy. The differentiator is the likability. So how do we include likability into our brands? So common interests are something I think that first come to mind, right? Like if I share photos of my dog walking or, whatever it is, I'm immediately going to become likable to dog owners, maybe, maybe not. So point being, don't rely too heavily on the common interests. Also, when you're posting, know what you bring to the table, but share it like authentically and gratefully, because that's really the likability factor, right? The authentic, true emotion of gratitude goes so far with people. It's amazing. And as authenticity. So share who you are with passion. And then here's another tip: comment. Don't just react to posts. Take the time, even if it's the next day, to comment back to the person. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, yes, whatever it is. It's amazing because remember, treat social media like a telephone instead of a television. Always keep thinking that, right? And then one of the things that I did a special segment on a few months back was the importance of, or the how you can build an amazing presence on social media by sharing impactful stories. So this is something that I've done several times throughout the years, and I always get followed up by messages, whether it's something about my wellness, my healing, whatever it is, or it's something to do with real estate transactions, something impactful that I shared. People usually message me on it. And then one of the biggest things you can do to help yourself build likability into your brand is incorporate videos, because as great as the stories are, as dynamic as the social media pieces are, at the end of the day, people want to connect with you. So you have to incorporate video into your marketing, your social media marketing strategy, if you're looking to grow it. It's that simple. So there are ways you can do that without putting yourself right out there right away. You can practice in a private group. You can do an interview series, which we'll talk about later in today's call, which really lets the other person do most of the talking. So there are some tips that you can do, but my biggest tip is just do it, right? So I got to take a little sip of tea, excuse me. All right, and really, you ever think about like people you're connected with on social media as being like this magnet of joy, this upbeat, positive person, and people radiate to that, so always become that most appreciative, grateful agent. Show proof of a job well done, but share it gratefully. You can share a transaction and process. Here's one that one of the agents on our team, Sarah Lewis, did a whole series, and she got a ton of views on it. It was amazing, and a future business. So she started with the consultation. She went to the buyer, seeing properties, finding the one, negotiating, home inspection, And then I think it was in New Hampshire, so I don't know that there was a PNS, but it went to, oops, a little appraisal issue, and it was authentic stuff. So people actually tuned in to closing, and she had a big red ribbon on the door. I mean, it was just an amazing emotional series to watch. It was inspiring, and that's, people radiate to that stuff. I'm telling you. You can even showcase property previews. So if you're an agent who has no business going on right now, you can be out there checking in with the list agents / sellers permission to do a quick video walkthrough of the house with the hopes of helping them sell it. I mean, I don't know too many agents that would say no to that. And then checking in to the town that you're in to do the preview video. And a couple of pro tips on the preview video: walk the house yourself first before you start recording, turn on all the lights, make sure the house is in decent shape. And if you're got really loud shoes / heels, you might consider removing them before the video. And then becoming a problem solver. We're going to talk about this a bit later in the call, but this is huge. And then don't forget to market for referrals and thank them. Thanking referrals is, and here's the thing, don't reward the result. So don't wait for the referral to close. Reward the action. The minute you get a referral, thank you. Send a $50, whatever it is, Amex gift card, Amazon gift card, whatever. Thank you so much. And post about it, right? If people see that this is a common occurrence in your business, they're more likely to follow suit. All right, so here's what I said we're going to talk about later. We'll talk about now is the things that we don't sell that I think we get caught up in. So a reminder, and I think I talked about this in last month's class, we do not sell real estate. We do not sell homes. We don't sell properties. We don't even sell our services or ourselves. What we sell is our expertise and the way we convey it. So what does that mean? People don't hire. We're not the house, right? We're not the property. We're the expert. So when somebody hires us, they're hiring our expertise and the way we convey it, right? So our expertise is the product that the clients are buying from us in essence. So every social media post, every correspondence and video is a way to showcase the expertise. All right, let's get into common mistakes agents make on social media. There's a quote, I think it's comparison is the thief of joy, and that is extremely true. Don't compare yourselves to others. Don't think, if you're watching another agent do a dynamic video, they've got all the bling, they've got all the tools, the fancy everything. Don't look at that and think, well, I could never do that. That's not me. Take from it what you will. Be strategic in your thinking. And this is another reminder to ditch the vanity metrics. Get away from caring about or focusing too much on likes, followers, subscribers, reactions, comments, etc. All of that is what's called vanity metrics. Drop them like they're hot. And remember, your followers are people, right? Behind every profile, there's a person out there that wants to or has chosen to connect with you. And embrace delayed gratification. So this is the message of this is focus on the process, not the result. So as you're building your business on social media, focus on your strategy. And it's fine to tweak it occasionally, but stay committed. Right? Don't say, I'm not getting any results. That doesn't mean you shouldn't work to grow your followership. It just means that you shouldn't be uber focused on it. Because if you stay too focused on something, you end up repelling it, not attracting it. Another thing to consider is inconsistent branding. And this is something I just mentioned previously for just a bit. But your business profile, handle, whatever, should be the same across all channels. You should be on all the major channels, but I will say this. If you really hate one channel, then don't be on that channel, because you do, in order to build any social media account, you do have to engage. So if you simply actively choose to say, okay, I really hate this one channel, or it's just so not me, then fine. But at the end of the day, I would also encourage you to get out of your comfort zone with some of them and say, okay, I will definitely grow in this aspect and I'll get on that network, even if you refuse the other one. Your profile picture and logo should be the same across all channels. Remember, if you have switched brokerages, it's fine, but update everything. Take the time to do that and check. And then all contact information should be updated and complete. Remember, you know, if you have a different website address, if you've moved and you've got a new phone number, if you, again, like I said, are with a new brokerage layer, perhaps, then you definitely want to make sure all that information is updated, and reference your business page on your personal pages, because I will sometimes look to find the contact information for an agent when I'm doing a social media piece and I can't find it. And I'm thinking, if I can't find it and I'm looking for it. So I would say another tip to make it super easy is get a link tree. They're free. They are free. And you can just link all of your accounts, if you've got a video, if you've got pages, if you've got a landing page, etc. It's endless. So, and it's free. I mean, you cannot beat free. And remember, super important to remember, your brand is an extension of the quality of your work. That's what people think of when they're looking at your stuff. So your posts. So remember that. And another thing is the inauthentic content. So and I always go back to this, incorporate video, right? And one of the things that I have found, and some of you may disagree with me, is if you're using a teleprompter, any type of teleprompter service, they are a good tool. But I would say keep your message short and sweet, because otherwise you just you lose that authenticity because you're reading, right? And it sounds like you're reading at some point. It just kind of kicks in like you're reading. So I would say, honestly, if you do need to use a teleprompter, fine, great. But keep your message short and sweet, and try to incorporate that authentic smile. You know, if you talk with your hands sometimes, great, do that. But use them, but don't use them all the time. I mean, you've got to get practice and comfortable in front of video. And then here's another tip is follow people who are crushing it, like people who are killing it on social media, and watch some of their reels, some of their videos, and duplicate their efforts, but put your own spin on it, right? I'm not here to tell you to rip off anybody's content. That's not the message. The message is to get inspired by it. So you have inspiration to sit and talk about something that's it's obviously getting views. So you don't have to worry about that. You've just got to now get it out and brand it to you. Another thing is poor quality of value and image. So, and again, I've said this before, you're being silently interviewed by people thinking of selling every time you share something. So even if they're not thinking of selling right now, you know, at some point, most people are going to sell in their lifetime. So they'll remember. Always use professional marketing when you have your listings. The only time that I didn't use professional marketing was when the timeline just did not call for it. And the seller was like, I need this on tonight, which was rare. So usually I would offset that with a conversation about the importance of professional marketing. Even if you're sharing just general, like, hey guys, what do you think of this kitchen? Use stock photos, but use stock photos that might have something in it that will spark the conversation. I've said this before, I think. I shared once just a green kitchen. Green happens to be my favorite color, but I would not paint my whole kitchen green. This kitchen was really lovely, but the cabinets were like a hunter green. And I did it purposely to spark conversation. And I would get comment back. What would you like? What would you do differently? You know, what would you go with? So I ended up getting so many hits on this. And remember, the purpose of engagement is that you are now being seen by more people, right? So, and that's what you want on social media. The only time you should not use stock or professional photos on your posts is if you're actually taking a photo, obviously, of you and your family, or you're at a home inspection and you're snapping a picture of something. I mean, those things are obvious that you should share directly from your phone, because that's the topic of the post. But you can get free stock photos by visiting Pixabay, Pixels, and Unsplash. They're completely free, although they do have some options for pay images. But you can get a ton of free stock images from those sites. Here's another thing: not being unbiased. So ask yourself before sharing anything on social media, look at it from an unbiased view. If I didn't know myself, if I didn't know me at all, if this wasn't my post, would I find value in it? And would I want to share this with somebody that I knew? And would I be inspired to subscribe and follow myself? So look at that. And I'm not saying look at it with super critical eyes, meaning now I've got to change everything up. That's not what I mean. I just mean start being do a second look at your content before you post. I always say, what is the saying? Check yourself before you wreck yourself. So based on what you see, would you hire yourself? And then I take it further. Check your public photos and posts. So for instance, if you have a profile pictures are public, and you're out there with your martini and you're having a great time, and which is fine, but look at some of the comments, and if anything's inappropriate, watch how you respond, because those comments are public. And review your responding comments to anything, watch that, because again, thanks to screenshotting, even if you have a very private post and you've limited who can see it, anybody on that feed, or on that post rather, that has the option to be part of that post can screenshot that to anybody. So even if your settings rather are private, they're not really. So just keep that in mind. And then you can't really ignore the data. So understand, and when you have a professional page, you'll have the insights to see when the best times to post are, and what content is getting more views. And I bet you anything, that content will be video that's getting the most views. But if you find it challenging, so if you know that, for instance, maybe you made a post at 4:30 in the afternoon one day and it worked for you that day, but on average, that's not going to happen. But you got a ton of hits on that, a ton of views. You can incorporate what's called a scheduler. It's a third-party software that you can use. You can subscribe or upgrade and pay for, and that will offset the challenge of posting during times when you simply can't. You can check out Sendable, Later, Planoly, Social Pilot, Buffer. You can even do it through Canva with the upgrade. Hootsuite and Sprout Social are some options for you. But I would definitely caution you on this. Don't get too automated, because it's all about engagement on social media. All right, thinking all or nothing. So as your business grows, you need to make shifts in how you plan to be consistent on social media. And one of the things that is key for many agents who are super busy in the business, but still maintaining a strong presence on social media with videos, they're batch recording, right? So they're setting aside a day, or maybe 2 or 3 days a month, to get out their, to record their content. So it's done, they might do it, they might record 5 videos, on a Saturday morning, if that allows, in their schedule. And, if you're one of the agents who are in the car, you're doing it every day, and that works for you right now, perfect. But as your business shifts drastically, you've got to think in terms of being more strategic. And that's the benefit of batch recording. And then repurposing content is hugely helpful when you're extremely busy. So don't be a one and done, and that will come up next in a minute. But repurpose some of this content and maybe cut it into smaller segments. So if you record a 5-minute video, maybe you chop it up into 2 or 1 minute segments, depending on the content. And here's a tip: set a ceiling for the amount of content that you're going to do on a weekly basis if everything is running smoothly. So your ceiling is everything, the world is perfect, everything is fine. And then the floor is, I'm barely hanging on, but I've got a bare minimum that I need to get out there. So that should be established. And I will say, if you've got batch content already recorded, that floor won't feel so stressful. Another thing is thinking one and done. So that's what I said earlier, is don't waste your time to create a video and only share it once. Go back and say, okay, I shared this buyer series content 6 months ago. Let me start resharing it again. So one of the huge benefits of dynamic content is that it can be repurposed. And it doesn't have to, like I said, it doesn't have to be that same 3 or 4 minute video. You can chop it up and mix it up and put it in with other content, or just share it as a 50-second video. Another thing is getting too automated, and we talked about this briefly, yes, I agree that there's huge benefit to using an online scheduler. We use one at Layer, and I use one for our team, but you want to use it to your advantage, not your detriment. So definitely, if you are using a scheduler, plan to time block in your schedule for being purposeful and engaging on social media, because that is where the magic is. Not in the post, but in the engagement, right? So, and remember, we are in the relationship business, especially on social media. And then getting too customized. I see this a lot. Spending too much time reformatting content that's already shared and done with you. Let's think strategically about, if you're a Layer agent, you're getting social media pieces that are already pre-formatted, with the exception that some are customizable. Actually, they all are. But they're all the photos that are being used are already, professional. They're not, they're not something that somebody's taking with their iPhone. So when you receive those pieces every week, think strategically in terms of the real purpose of those posts. The real purpose is not, I should say, well, I like purple pillows better, so I'm going to replace this sofa, this picture of this sofa with green pillows, with something I like better. And this, all of this is, you've got to go back to the strategy behind it. And that is that it's a time saver, so that you can spend more time building on your connections. Who cares about the sofa? It's a professional image. I would say, if you are on social media, your time should be spent building relationships and engagement. That is the magic, not in the post. And another thing is wasting money. I would say avoid spending money buying content. If you're a Layer agent, you're receiving this dynamic content weekly with captions and hashtags and emojis. It's all done for you. Spend your time making video. Spend your time getting out of your comfort zone. If you're not a video person, challenge yourself to become one. Just do one video. And I can tell you right now, yes, if your neck is red, you've got hives, all of it, trust me. The next time you do it, it gets better and better and better. Just like anything, the first time you wrote your first contract in real estate, were you a little nervous? The very first one, you know what I mean? So These things get better with time. And then making it all about real estate is another thing to consider. Don't do that. People want to connect with you, right? They know you're in real estate, and if they don't, they will at some point, and they should know you're in real estate. We're not secret agents. Everybody gets that. But they also want to connect with you. So give people more of a reason to want to visit your page and stay connected. And I'm not talking about your personal page. I'm talking about making it also about you on your business page too. So we'll talk about more about that in a minute. All right, here's a great suggestion and a way to build your business. And I've seen several people do this, and it's amazing. Sarah Lyman is a phenomenal connector of people and does a great job chatting with people. I don't even know if I'd call it an interview series. It's more of a connection and a chat. It's wonderful. But let's talk about some of the win-wins of creating interview series. So it's a way to build and maintain authentic connections because you're really wanting to get to know the person, right? You're delving deep, and if you're helping them build their business, that's a total win for you. And here you go. It's what's called giver's gain, helping other people build their brand and their business. I mean, I will say this, not everybody's comfortable being interviewed. I get it. But for you, as looking to build your business, it's just it's an amazing way to make connections. So you see a new business opening up, go in. I would never call and ask to do an interview over the phone unless you've already got a really good connection developed with the person, but I would do it all in person. And you learn in the process. I mean, especially if you're interviewing like a home inspector that you've used or a general contractor even, there's a lot of learning to be had during these conversations. So they're pretty dynamic. And then the upside is content is shared through multiple channels and multiple accounts. So one of the things as you ask is, if you're interviewing a business owner, would you please share this on your page as well and tag me? Huge benefit to both. And here's one, you become a problem solver even when you're not. Think about that for a minute. That's kind of huge. So how do you do that? You interview a home inspector, and although they're the expert in providing the answers, or a builder or whoever it is you want to interview, you're the facilitator of the conversation. It's housed or hosted rather on your page or account. You are the problem solver in essence by doing that. So huge win for you. And by doing that, you become more relatable, more likable, and people begin to trust you. It's also a great way for people to get into video if you're feeling uncomfortable being on camera. So why is that? Because it puts you more in control of the conversation. The person asking the questions is the person controlling the conversation. But you definitely want to sit back and be okay letting that person tell their story. So if you're uncomfortable, really all you're doing is establishing a list of pre-formatted questions. You're making the introduction and then you're turning it over. So, you're hosting a Q&A basically, but they're doing 90% of the talking. It's wonderful. And then the more you do, the more you'll want to do. It's a free investment. The only investment is your time, unless you choose to upgrade your equipment for some reason. You can use your cell phone or your laptop to record the conversation. But a huge pro tip is to do this interview in person. This is where the true connection is made. Connections, one of the things that was great during the pandemic is a lot changed, and we found a great way to still get things done by way of Zoom and Google Meets and all that. But now where we've shifted outside of that, it's time for that reconnection, and nothing will ever beat an in-person interview versus, how you're doing it on Zoom or whatever. Those things are convenient, yes, but I would say if you're really looking to make it about the connection, do it in person and then have coffee or tea afterwards. That would be lovely. And then another thing is content can be repurposed when you're busy. And this is another thing, stop being that one and done, right? Like I did this. Oh yeah, I've already done that. That's okay. But again, you're busy now and I haven't seen a video on your page for a good 6 weeks. Repurpose it. That's one of the huge benefits of video. And another benefit of the series, the interview series specifically, is that it's a reason to reconnect and spark further conversations and deepen the connection. So, say you interviewed an author and, you want to pick up the conversation again and let's hear more about this character, or let's hear more about your next book. It solidifies the relationship. And especially, again, because you're helping them grow too. So it's awesome. And then here's something that I think is key. Industry-related content can be used to wow clients during consultations. How is that? So one of the things that I had suggested back to the team was, if you are, you have a great relationship with a lender or a home inspector, closing attorney, whatever, have them, if they're willing to, do and this could be as you doing it in the interview. Record just a segment of maybe less than 3 minutes, like say a home inspector. What can a first-time home buyer expect as a result of their home inspection? And then close it out with, you're in great hands with Realtor Joe Schmo. Looking forward to, it just polishes the whole consultation. And who else is doing that, right? So now you've got a consultation that's wow-worthy. That's what I call it. So definitely start to incorporate some of these, things where instead of maybe, you're talking about the home search, you're going through your buyer guide, maybe you've got a lender, etc. And if you really do a timeline through your consultations and you work to have an agenda that's right on point, you can include a 2 to 3 minute video from a home inspector as to what the buyers can expect. And they mention you in the video that, and saying that you're in great hands. So I love that idea. And then the domino effect kicks in, as we talked about before. The more interviews you do, you'll get more comfortable, and the more you'll want to do. Your confidence will soar, and you'll seek to make connections. Who can I connect with today? Right? Who can I grow? Who can I help grow? Who can I help support? So those are the thoughts that you're going to start having, which are amazing. And so here, who to interview? As we said, inspectors, lenders, closing attorneys, appraisers, organizers, cleaners. I mean, anybody you can think of that you've come in contact through a real estate transaction. More landscapers, builders, general contractors, plumbers, electricians. The list is endless. It's amazing. And then open your mind. Start thinking bigger picture. Homeowners, past clients, current clients, right? This is where you might incorporate a transaction in progress. How's it going so far on the home search? Tell prospective buyers what they can expect. And here's one, other agents. Are you looking to grow your business? Are you looking to bring on a buyer's agent? Are you a team leader looking to grow your team? And start interviewing agents. And then because people love to talk about themselves, I would say for the most part. Another group of people that you can consider, authors, as I said earlier, dentists, doctors, chiropractors, massage therapists, spa owners, etc. Anybody looking to grow their business or product, I would tell you, would not hesitate to want to get in front of a camera with you. And as I said earlier, think strategically and see the big picture. Who can I connect with today? Who can I help support? Who can I help grow? Think outside the box, and don't just share this stuff on social media too. You know, as you're doing interviews, videos, get an email marketing service, right? Exact is the CRM that we're using, and create an email list and send your videos out through your email campaigns, your new, you know, your electronic newsletter if you can. So look to share not just on social media, but share it on YouTube, although YouTube is sometimes considered a social media. Share it on your blog, your website, get it out there. You want as many eyes on your content as possible. So always be thinking outside the box. And I have to say, oh, one of the things, I think I might have skipped the screen, was how to co-marketing. When you are co-marketing, like for whatever reason, if somebody has agreed to do a video with you, or anything that you're helping them grow, don't hesitate to say, you know, can I leave like, you know, on Magnet Street, or what's the other, Markable or something like that. They have the customized magnets. They're so cheap. You can get like 500 or 100 with your personalized picture, your contact information on the bottom, and keep them like in a get holders. You can get them on Amazon. You can get a box of 10 holders that will hold pamphlets or magnets, or these things are like business size, envelope size, that can easily fit into one of these plastic containers, and keep them at the register. So don't hesitate to be bold in that respect. Ask the bold question. You know, would it be okay with you if I kept these at your register? I'd appreciate, you know, if you wouldn't mind helping me out. After all, like, you just helped them out, right? So it's reciprocity. I can't imagine anybody saying no to that. So I have got some kudos to share this month. These are people who are putting it out there on social media, whether it be that they're being very consistent, or they're stepping outside of their comfort zone, and maybe they've launched their first video. So I have some kudos this month for Brian Pereira, who's been very consistent as well, with Dan Capra and Jess Preventure, Olivia Paris, Sarah Lyman, Kimberly Kaplis, as well as Robin Foley and Cara Labonte. So congratulations on being epic social media rock stars. And I've got a few mindsets for success for you. One is, and I say this every time, so this will be on every single mindset for success segment, done is better than perfect. I think we get so caught up in making things, you know, like I said earlier about the sofa's got pink pillows, I don't like pink, or whatever it is. Don't think strategically. Don't think that everything's just got to be perfect, right? There's actually a strategy about being imperfect that's pretty cool, and I think I'm going to share it at next month's social media class. And then this is my personal favorite mindset for success, and I tell myself this constantly: lean in and level up. Love that. I am all about that right now. Excuses don't get results. If I catch myself thinking any type of negativity, cynicism, you know, and we get it. We're human. Those things can seep in, but the minute I catch it, I tell myself, lean in and level up. Done. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Very empowering. That is super empowering. and focus on the process, not the results. This is something that I think, you know, as being so goal oriented, we're so focused on the result. And that's my next one. Intentions are about the now, about the personal change, where goals are about the external result, something in the future. So we want to be focused on the now, because that's all there is, people. That's it. And then energy flows where intentions go. So that's also super powerful. But again, my favorite is lean in and level up. I can't say it enough. I think I'm going to get a t-shirt made. And then I have two things. One is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This is a timeless classic. So if you're looking really to build relationships, this book is for you. I highly recommend it. And then, excuse me, another quick sip. If you are, if you haven't, you have got to check out the Algorwin system. And in there is a section for those of you that already have this tremendous guide on social media posts and videos. Definitely check that out. There's some scripting specifically regarding the interview series and how to ask, what if they say no, it's all in there. So tremendous. And that's on our Layer website. So definitely check that out. That download is for free for anyone. Is there any Q&A? I am here to answer your questions. I think I'm too caffeinated today. None. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. The next social media masterclass will be on Thursday, August 24th at 12:30. And I encourage you to never miss an opportunity to learn and grow. You can sync your calendar with the Layer training calendar by going to layerrealty.com/training. And there's an option down below to sync your calendar. We'd love to see you at the next social media masterclass. So thank you again so much for joining us. Have a tremendous rest of your July. I can't believe August is right around the corner. And thank you again for joining us.